Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon, almost 12. Doing some pruning to the tomatoes, and taking off the suckers and pruning up the foliage lollipop style. So, as you can see here, I have some of them left behind to show you. And I cut them off from about this area here, and I've been taking suckers from above them with the notches in between here, and I have those cloning, and I've taken a picture, so you're going to be able to see those. And pretty much I've done the same thing all the way to the end, all the tomatoes. And I have some suckers still left here, and I'll demonstrate. You can see that there is a node here and a node down there, and what I've been doing is I will allow these suckers, you see how big they are, I'll allow them to grow out, and then I'll cut them off, and I'll leave the foliage. So once I take the suckers off, I can clone them, and as soon as I take the suckers off, I come over here and I cut off the tip ends of the leaves, and what that does is it will stop sending resources to this foliar tier. And I call this this is the sucker tier, and this is the foliar tier. So you see they're on one tier, and when I cut the end of that foliar tier, it promotes growth back further up the stem here, instead of a distribution at this point, because I've cut the sucker, so there's nothing to supply to the sucker. And I've cut the end leaf, so that means that it will not keep growing out these little tiny sprout leaves in between. You know, they're internodal, so that's what causes them to continue growing outward here. And there was a single leaf here that I cut off. So once I prune them up that way, you know, I let them grow out, I cut the sucker, and then once they get tall enough, then I come up and then I cut the foliar leaf. And then I continue to do so all the way up. Like this one here, you see, I've cut the sucker, but I've left on the foliar leaf, and then I've cut the end of that leaf, and then this one as well. You see, there's a sucker right there. Well, right there. And these guys up here, you see the sucker is just starting to develop, so I leave this leaf on at the end, so it promotes the growth into that tier. Another thing I have done that I would like to show you is I've topped them off. This is not considered the lollipop technique, but what it does is provides me with more suckers. So you see I cut it off there. It's trying to focus. You can see the silhouette of it. But I've cut off the top, and I'm making clones of that, so that way instead it will start growing out of the sucker previously grown. So that's going to become my new top head, this guy, once it grows longer than up here, which was where the original top head was. And I'm going to leave these leaves on top here, so it creates a suction of distributive resources through this internodal intersection right here. We have here my squash and my flower bed, my ebb and flow flower bed. I've taken my padrones and I've put them in here as well. I didn't actually set them, I just put them on top so the water flow can just touch the bottom, give them a nice drink. And I've done some pruning already to my zucchinis and stuff, so you can see the stalk base there. And then back here I have some buds going on. Lots of little buds here. I previously, earlier this spring, cut some of the buds off about a month ago, and what that does is creates more vigorous growth to the foliage, and now I have a new set of buds that are coming in much more quickly, much more abundantly. I'd say on this plant right here there's 5 buds, and I probably originally cut off 2 or 3 a month ago, so you can see that I'm getting a lot more growth to support a lot more bud growth behind it. Same with this guy. You see lots of little buds on there. I think it was a good idea to put my padrones out here as well, because they need a lot more. Now that they're grown bigger, I can give them a lot more sun at once. I'll give you a close-up of this monster here. See a lot of the foliage starting to develop at the bottom in the center. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video to show you how I cut my suckers off these tomatoes here. You see, got another sucker here. I'm gonna wait for that to grow out. And then once it grows out, I'm gonna cut off this guy. Okay, thank you guys.